Okay, so we're going to talk about today a ZF6HP19. Okay, and the car is a 2011 Audi A6 with a 3.0 turbo, I believe. So Audi designates this transmission as an 09L, which is a ZF6HP26. All right, so we got a couple of codes present on this. Car actually has 57,000 miles on it. Beautiful car, in great shape. Got a couple of codes here, a P2702 and a P2703. Now the code definitions for those two codes. All right, the P2702 is clutch C, friction element apply time, and the 2703 is clutch D, friction element apply time. You know, kind of fancy term for the transmission is slipping. So the guy comes to me, I scan the car. He had gone to Audi to get some advice. And the guy had then found me. I don't know if it was a recommendation or maybe he saw me on YouTube. So he comes to me and he explains the situation, and I scan the car and I see these codes are present. He was talking about the car going into limp mode also. Sometimes when he puts it in reverse, he has a delay. And I drove the car around. I asked him if he sees any leaks on it. We got the car here now, and I did check the fluid level, and the fluid level is full. So, you know, that's not the problem. But I drove the car around, and it worked okay for me. I had no problem at all. So he says to me, what can be causing this problem? What can be causing these codes? Well, you know, when you have a transmission slipping, you know, it's either slipping in third gear or maybe second gear. You usually don't have multiple gear ratio error codes unless you're dealing maybe with a problem with the input speed sensor or the output speed sensor. That will give you multiple gear ratio error in second, third, fourth, and then you should have an input speed code, but sometimes you won't. But I checked all that through the scan tool, all that was working. So he says, what do you think? I said, either the transmission is low on fluid or you have a problem with your filter. You know, for some reason it's sucking air or something like that. You know, it's got to be in one of the two. This is before I even checked the fluid. I said, it's got to be in one of the two places. I said, at 57,000 miles, I said, and for what I'm seeing, I think I mean, I wrote these down because I remember these codes, but they're also possibly may have been a 2701 also. So we're talking multiple gear ratio codes, and again, you don't really see that unless you're dealing with like an input or output speed sensor or something like that. So I had said here either low on fluid or you have a filter problem. So he says, you know, it's funny you should say that because Audi had given me there's an actual TSB. And what they're saying on the TSB, you know, I told him I'm not condemning this transmission yet because I don't believe you need one. So there's a technical service bulletin, and it's talking about codes present of 2700, 2701, 0203, or P0730, which is gear ratio error. Okay, and you can also have no drive or a delay in drive at startup, and same problem in reverse. And he had the problem in reverse, and it actually went into limp mode on him in reverse. Okay, so the problem is that the filter, I got this from ZF Chicago, the filter seal is becoming loose and the filter may be coming out of place. And then you're getting air in there and causing this problem. Now, I gotta tell you something. I had a guy drive down here from Massachusetts, and I did the transmission on his Land Rover. I filmed the teardown because It's a ZF6HP19, and he had the conversion done of cutting out the plastic pan and putting in the filter like this and the metal pan. So one of the main problems that car has, not to get off subject for the Audi, but I just kind of want to, what I'm leading up to is a problem similar to this, was he had an issue with the E-clutch. You know, the bushing was worn out. But then he tells me, you know, also, he goes, every morning when I start the car, I got to put it in drive and I got to sit there. And then he says, I put it in reverse. I think somebody's pulling up. Nope, pulling through. He says, I put it in reverse, and I said, I got a delay both ways. And I said, okay, because I never felt that. I says, but before we pull the trans, you know, let me put this thing on level ground, let me check it out. And sure enough, we drive it down the street, we put it into reverse, we give it gas, nothing there, boom, it goes into limp mode. And then we put it back in a drive, and it went okay. So very similar to what's going on here. And again, plastic pan was removed. This filter, similar to this, was put in, and a metal pan and gasket was put on. So when I got the transmission on the bench and I'm tearing it down and I'm filming it, I take the pan off, and I just, like, if the filter's installed, right, if the filter's installed, I just take the filter, boom, and I pick it up. I don't have to go, and pop it out of the seal. I said, so, because I told the guy, I said, I think you've got two problems going on here. And one of them was the E-clutch, the other one has got to be probably something with a filter. So what I did was I took the filter and I just laid it on top of the valve body, and it wasn't even in the seal, and I put the pan on, and the pan went on flat. I could have put all the bolts in, and the pan wasn't rocking or anything like that. So, you know, people like to, I've never really done that conversion. I've always hear about it, and I had parts for some guy that was supposed to come in to do it, and I really never heard from him because he was, I think, coming from far away. But now that I see what can happen, because that guy had it done, I don't know how long ago it was, I'm not so sure I would do that, because that caused a problem in his transmission of a delay. So I might just recommend to go for the extra labor. Plastic pan comes out, put the plastic pan back. I called the guy and I said, listen, I'm not putting this setup back in. I'm giving you a plastic pan because it's going to be a problem if we put that back. He said, fine, do whatever you think. So I put the plastic pan back in, and it's already back in the car. Reset the ship, the DAPS, the thing works great. All right, so they're saying that the filter on the Audi comes loose from the pump, and I don't know, maybe it could drop down a little and get air in there to cause that problem. All right, so we're gonna do a new filter and a new pan gasket. All right, so this is the pan gasket here, and there are two different kinds of pan gaskets. This is a 13-bolt, and this one's a little pricey because it's metal and rubber, and the other one I believe is paper. But in order to get the right one, you can either count the pan bolts and call Ericsson's or call Audi. Well, Audi may know from the last summon of the VIN, but Ericsson's would not know, can't decode the VINs on the Audi. So, I mean, I always recommend getting the parts from Ericsson's because it would probably be a lot less than getting them from Audi. They're gonna want the Stukel number on the side of the transmission. This one began with 1071. I didn't write this one down, but this was like 1071, 010216, you know, something like that. But if you give them that number, they'll know what pan gasket you need. Or again, you can count the pan bolts. It's either 13 or the other one I believe has more, and then they should know what you need, and the filter I believe is only one. So just some information in case you're experiencing delays in drive in the morning, delays in reverse in the morning, maybe going into fail-safe, and you're gonna have these codes, 2700, 2701, 2702, 2703, you know, chances are your problem is the filter. So at that point, you know, I would say you really don't need a transmission. All right, so let's see. Yeah, technical service bulletin, it says delayed engagement when cold or no drive on first engagement. And that says, there's a 38 in front of that. I'm not sure if that's a code, or I'm not really sure what that is. And then it says DCT, in parentheses, 2700, 2701, 02, 03, and 730. Let's see, in rare circumstances, if the vehicle was in motion and the ATF strainer becomes loose, the transmission may go into limp mode and third gear would only be achieved. Okay, so because of the design change, I'm not really sure what the design change was with the filter. ATF strainer can't come loose from the guide. I don't know if they maybe had a plastic pan, went to a metal pan. I don't know what the design change was. I really don't, that I don't know. Can come loose from the ATF pump intake duct. As a result, air can be drawn in, causing the oil to foam, which prevents the clutches from closing completely. And of course, you'll have your limp mode. But I don't remember, I don't think Audi ever had the plastic pan, but I'm not really sure what of a different design filter, to be honest with you. I only know of this one, you know. And this one here is straight out of ZF. I got my Filtran, I got my, let's see, here we go. Made in Germany, Filtran, and the gasket here. So let me just give you a close-up shot of this. Again, really just information only for you Audi people out there. All right, so this one, again, 57,000 miles. So if you have certain codes and you take it somewhere, you may not need a transmission. Okay, so probably straighten that out with a service. And you gotta make sure you get the good stuff, OE parts. All right, so again, delay reverse or lost reverse, delay forward cold, delay reverse cold, and the transmission can go into limp mode on you while driving if this comes loose and air gets in there, and you would get codes the 2700 through the 2703 or the PO730. All right, so let me just kind of give you a close-up shot of this stuff here. And I'm going to be working on this car tomorrow morning, so that's why I had to do this now. Because I have multiple things going on here. On this bench, I have an 18 Suburban 6L80. Right here, I have 2002 Acura MDX with the transmission designation BVGA, I believe it is, or BGHA, that's what it is. On this side of the bench, I have a Lexus ES300 U140, and on this side of the bench, a 2010 BMW X5 with a 3.0 with ZF6HP19. Plus, I have many more to come out. It's very, very busy. I have a few more Hondas that have to come out. I got a Mustang here we're doing. I have an F-150 pickup we got to pull out. I have a Ford van, 40100. So it's busy. But I wanted to take some time because once this filter is in the car, that's it. I got to wait for the next one to come in. So just wanted to do like this informational only. So let me give you a close-up shot of this stuff here, and then we'll finish it up. And just want to let you guys, all you Audi people, know out there what's going on with these codes. Alrighty, so once again, let me just take this out. Alright, so this gasket here, sorry, it's kind of, I know I'm a little close up there, is the 13, I ripped the bag open, I can't really even read you the part number. But, again, you can count the bolt holes in it, and you can identify it that way if you have a lift. But, you know, if you have these codes, you know, the first thing you really want to do is check the fluid level. Just make sure the fluid level is good, and then if it is, you may have something going on with the filter. All right, here's the Audi filter. All right, ZF part number is 0501 212 401, and this is the oil filter. All right, it comes with the seal here that you will put into the pump, and then just make sure it's all the way up, put some grease on it all the way up, and then, you know, normally the pan would hold the filter in, but I guess there is a little bit of a gap between the pan and the bottom of the intake, because the intake is here for the oil. And I guess if it can come loose and come out a little bit, you know, you get some air in there. So you want to be careful with that if you see those codes or if you have those symptoms. And of course, once we fill it back up, let me back out just a little too close. Once we fill it back up, I have my Lifeguard 6, probably take about, I don't know. I mean, according to Audi, would take about 7. I don't think it's going to take 7. You know, I think it's going to probably take maybe 4 or 5. Pan's really not that deep. But whatever comes out is going to come out. We'll put it back in through the first fill, crank it up, fill it up again until it runs out, take it around a block at a normal operating temperature, pull the plug back out, and confirm that we have a steady stream coming out, that it's full. All right, so again, this is a 2011 Audi A6 3.0 turbo. Audi designates the transmission as an 09L, which is a ZF6HP19. All right, and they actually have a TSB. I don't know what the number is, but let me try to find it out, and I will put the. Oh, here it is. Here, it looks like the TSB number, Technical Service Bulletin, on the top here. It says 202.1292/3. So it's Technical Service Bulletin 202.1292/3. I looked on ShopKey. I have Mitchell on Demand, you know, ShopKey Pro, and I didn't see it. So I think maybe the guy at Audi may have given this to him or emailed it to him or something. All right, so that's it for this ZF6HP19 and this 11 Audi. I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you next one.